Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Ashley Batistick, and this is Embrace the Bounty, where we're not only learning how to make good food, but how we can nurture our good relationships with one another.
This month, we're making a spicy lamb sandwich loaded with sugar snap peas. Big enough for two, although you may not want to share after you taste this flavor explosion. There's garlic, chili, fresh herbs, and my favorite, homemade preserved lemon.
As we cook, we're going to be talking about interpersonal conflict, how we can spot, identify, and find our way out of trouble with one another. Let's get cooking. Okay, I'm obsessed with this sandwich. I dream about this sandwich. I'm not usually a huge lamb fan, but it takes a backseat to all of the bold flavors we've got going on.
This foldable flatbread holds a lot. A spicy whipped lemon cheese spread, juicy lamb meatballs, and an herby snap pea salad.
Okay, I got us started last night by making this dough ahead of time. It's based off of a Neapolitan-style pizza dough that uses 00 flour.
It's an Italian-style flour that is finely milled and results in an extra chewy, foldable crust. If you can't find it, you can totally sub in all-purpose flour.
When I was in 9th grade, I had a friend group where two of my friends were having trouble because one of them had just started to date a new boyfriend and the other was feeling left out. Naturally, there were hurt feelings, maybe some gossiping behind people's backs. Most tweens would try to probably solve this problem in the locker room bathroom. I, on the other hand, held a joint meeting at my mom's house where I sat everybody down to talk about their feelings and apologize to one another. I'm sure my friends loved me. But it's these instincts that actually help me work with my couples.
Just like we're working out this dough. We'll pop these babies into the oven right about the same time we're cooking our lamb for about 10 to 12 minutes at 425 until golden brown.
Okay, let's get started on our lamb. We're going to add a little bit of microplaned garlic, some salt, and an egg. And then we're going to drop these meatballs into a hot, sizzling cast iron skillet. And we'll cook until they're about medium rare, almost cooked all the way through. I'm trained in emotionally focused therapy, which is an evidence-based model of therapy that works to help people out of conflict. Couples often find themselves stuck in a repetitive negative cycle of interaction as the result of losing safety and connection with one another. Just about everybody gets into these patterns, or negative cycles as we like to call them in EFT, because we're hardwired to connect and need one another. When our connection and sense of safety are in jeopardy, we fight and we argue.
And we're primed to respond. Our bodies feel stressed because our nervous systems are on alert. We want to protect ourselves from pain, so we assess and judge what we see and then react. And our emotions prime all of this. In this state, it's so rare for the other to know what emotions and thoughts are behind our action tendencies.
If we did, we'd immediately feel empathy and understanding, and the fight would be over. But all we see is blame and shutdown, so the cycle feeds on itself. Okay, I'm going to give these a good turn. They're looking nice and brown on one side. And we'll let them cook. And then I'll get started on the other elements for this amazing sandwich. You've probably heard this cycle referred to as the pursuer-distancer dynamic. I have so many couples who come into my office and are like, are we the only ones? And I'm like, no, everybody has a negative cycle. But what most people don't know is how to find their way out of it. So I'm going to show you how, just as we start on this ricotta mascarpone spread, and then we get to our snap peas.
First, you need to know you're in the cycle. The cue can be how your body feels.
For me, I feel tingly and dizzy.
Or it can be an action tendency in response to a cue that you witness.
I usually start in with a quick rebuttal when my husband seemingly disparages something I've said or done.
Another cue can be an emotion you feel in response.
For me, it's always shame.
Next, know your action tendencies. I get critical, blaming, and defensive. My eyes look down, or I look dead on and point my finger. It's also good to know what behavioral cues you witness in the other that triggered this response.
He throws his hands up in the air too, saying, I wish we never had this conversation. Now here's the most important question to ask. If you can't remember anything, remember this. If that's true, what does that mean for you? The answer is almost always a thought that's turned into a false truth about you. For me, it's because I'm too much for you.
It's at this point in the session that I know we're on the pulse of it, the emotional pain that we're all doing our best to avoid. So I'll ask again, if that's true, you're too much, well then what? How are you left to feel?
Angry, frustrated, resentful? Go deeper. And your anger can't fix it. What does that mean for you? Sad, lonely, ashamed? Maybe unlovable?
That's it, folks. The emotional pain that's driving the cycle.
Right. So you're all alone struggling with these feelings because he seemingly is pulled away from you because you're too much. So you could see why I might get critical, blaming, and defensive to convince him otherwise, to avoid feeling this way. I'm gonna go get the bread from the oven and we'll tie all of this together. Perfection. It's at this point in therapy with my clients that I ask them to share that bit right there. Sharing from this place stops the fight right in its tracks. Because it's no longer about the blame or the shutdown or the defensiveness. Now, it's actually about the emotions that are driving the cycle. Taking it one step further and sharing with our partners not only helps for repair, but also helps cultivate reciprocity, which is paramount for increasing the bounty in our lives.
Let's top these off with our snap peas and get ready to dive in.
Okay, we ready? Let's see. So full. Oh man. And it's a real hot jam. So good. Maybe I will want to share it with someone who I love.
And if you do, talk about the emotions that drive the disconnection in your life. Maybe it'll bring you back to one another. Just like this sandwich will. That's all, folks. You can find all the recipes featured here over at The Bounty, where we're cultivating community and also talking about our relationships with one another. See you there.